If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here. So today, let's talk about the coronavirus. Before I get into this, though, I want to say I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I probably really don't know any more about this than you do, right? But I do a Facebook Live every day, and it's on everybody's mind. So I thought I'd try to share some of my thoughts and what I've learned. Obviously, I'm not giving any kind of medical advice. I mean, if you have symptoms or concerns, you should talk to your doctor, right? But, as of March 11th, I believe it was, the coronavirus, also called COVID-19, it has been recognized as a worldwide pandemic. And we've known about the virus ever since it hit China. I think it was a little over a month ago. And now it's at our door. It's here. It's going crazy in the US already. And so we need to protect ourselves, right? So identifying symptoms too is important so we can help and try not to affect others. But the first thing I want to say is don't panic. I mean, it's important to stay calm and focused on reality. And the reality is, the way I see it, is this is going to get bad. This is going to get pretty bad for people as a whole. I mean, it seems like right now, thousands and thousands and thousands of people are going to be affected, right? But the same reality is, if you do happen to get this, and I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but I think I heard 15 to 20% of the people will be serious enough to require hospitalization. So hopefully that won't be you and me and anybody we know, but it could be, and it's still scary for all of us, right? The big thing right now, what the government is trying to do is they're trying to, what they call, flatten that curve, because the way it's happening is the virus is taking off, it's spiking, and then hundreds of thousands of people need emergency hospital care, and our hospitals are not set to provide that. We don't have respirators. We don't have what we need. And so a lot of people will die. And if we can flatten that curve and make it so that it doesn't spike, so we'll probably get the same number of people who will get sick, but it will be over a longer period of time. It won't be as tall. The curve won't be as tall. It'll be flat, but it'll be a longer period of time. But then our hospitals can handle it. I mean, we don't want to be in a situation where they have, 8 respirators and 3 people, and now they have to decide which 3 get that respirator. That's what's scary, right? So it is scary, but panic doesn't help at all. I mean, it only minimizes our ability to think rationally. So one of the greatest ways that we can curtail panic is with knowledge and awareness. And also be sure to stay in today. Don't let yourself start thinking about tomorrow or what's going to happen to me. Just stay in today, just stay in the now and the here and the now. That's the best way to curtail panic. But as far as knowledge and all that, I don't know where you're at with this. Some of you might be following this very closely on the news, and others maybe not so much. So I just want to go over a couple of things, right? Like I said, I'm not an expert. But let's talk about some of the things you might want to think about in order to prepare, right? The main thing is you're gonna probably almost guaranteed now face prolonged periods of quarantine. So this happened in China and Italy, and it's starting to happen here in the US. So it's very likely you're going to need to deal with this. But of course, in the case of quarantine, you'll need to stay home. And here's some things that, and I got this from the Center for Disease Control, right? I mean, their website has all kinds of information right now. Create an emergency contact list. So this should include emergency contacts for neighbors, friends, family, your healthcare team, employers, schools, your local health department. Have all that handy. Put it on your fridge or something. So if something were to happen to you, someone would know who to contact. Or if you're isolated and we're in quarantine, you would easily have the information if you needed to contact anybody, right? So that's a really good idea. Learn about your employer's emergency operations plan. So find out exactly what your plan covers as far as sick leave, work from home possibilities, and how your employer plans to deal with this outbreak. I'm sure if you have a job right now, your employer's already given you all this information, I'm sure, because they're probably making it up as they go, right? I mean, even if you're in a job that doesn't provide sick leave, the government is looking at options for that. That's another thing, this whole thing is going to be a financial crisis, a huge financial crisis. But again, don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. Stay in the now. and just know that the government is doing everything they can to help us, even financially. They're talking about options. They're talking about sending $1,000 to every single person. They're talking about covering sick leave. They're talking about covering unemployment benefits that are not available right now. So don't worry about that yet. That's not important right now. Right now is just getting through today, right? The most important thing, though, stay informed. I mean, watch the local news, watch the news, the legitimate news. Watch for credible sources for information about COVID-19. And seriously, though, you guys, please be careful what you're reading on social media and what you're passing along. I can't believe the number of people that have sent me this Facebook message with a video about using a spray bottle and a hairdryer to cure the disease. If you watch the video, you'll see it's a guy trying to sell a book. It's a guy that's he's trying to get rich off this coronavirus thing. And seriously, don't you think if this really worked, it would be on every news channel? They would be doing everything in their power. They would be passing out spray bottles and hair dryers saying, please do this, because they would be doing everything they could to get everybody to do it. There is no cure. There is no treatment right now for coronavirus. And if you get somebody sending you a Facebook message that says there is, it's wrong. Don't take it. Don't pass it on. It's wrong, you guys. So it's just really important to reject gossip and hype, because those things only propagate panic and anxiety, and they don't help anybody. Somebody starts trying to do some of those things that could end up getting people killed, right? So be careful about that. Be careful about what's real before you pass it on, because everything on Facebook isn't real. We all know that, right? So I'm not going to go into a lot of details about this, because you've probably all heard it, but there's some precautions you can take. Wash your hands often. Don't touch your face. For sure, wash your hands after you blow your nose or cough or sneeze, right? Or if you've been in a public place. One thing I saw on TV, a doctor was explaining, if you have to be like in New York City and you have to be on the subway, he was suggesting get like the cheapest disposable gloves you can, so that you can have a whole bunch of them, and put on disposable gloves before you have to get on the subway and hold on to the bar. And then when you get off the subway, throw the gloves away, so that you're keeping yourself safe, right? Because lots and lots of people are touching those bars. But, if soap and water is not available, use a hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. They're saying soap and water is better than a hand sanitizer, but do what you can, right? Keep your home clean. Doorknobs, especially doorknobs, handrails, those kinds of things. Stay away from anyone who's sick. They're recommending 3-foot distance away from anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Now they're saying 6 foot. So obviously that's the whole social distance that they're talking about, because, and it's funny, I'm seeing this even in the news. Even if you watch the news, you can't see it unless they show it to you, but it looks like 3 people are sitting at a desk, but they're actually at 3 different desks, and they're 12 feet away from each other, so they're protecting themselves, right? It just looks like they're sitting together on the TV. But, if you're sneezing or coughing, cover your mouth with in your elbow or with a tissue, and then throw those tissues away immediately after you use them. Don't reuse them, because there's little droplets that comes from the virus that's in your when you cough or when you sneeze, and it will get on that tissue, and you don't want to use it again and spread it, right? So, I mean, all of these things, we are on our way to quarantine really fast. I mean, a lot of states have banned groups. They're shutting down concerts. They're shutting down plays. The casinos are shutting down in Vegas. Utah, they're banning any gathering over 50 people. The CDC came out, I think it was yesterday, and said, we suggest no more than 10 people. And some cities are locking down. I believe in California and maybe New York, their cities are actually locking down. They're saying you cannot leave your house unless you're going to the grocery store, the pharmacy, or the gas station. Unless it's something you really need, they want you to stay home. And that's the only way we're going to take care of this. So follow what your government, what your local health department is saying. And then it's who's at highest risk. Well, we know that the older you are, the higher your risk is. So be really careful if you have elderly people in your family. Maybe keep them separate from everybody else, because you don't want like somebody else in your family to pass it to them, right? So some of the symptoms to look for, what I'm seeing, obviously we've all heard this: fever, cough, and shortness of breath. And they said fever of 101 or more, cough and shortness of breath. But then this one I haven't heard on the news, but it was on the CDC, emergency warning signs. So if you're having difficulty breathing or shortness of breath, persistent pain or pressure in your chest, if you're confused, really new confusion or inability to arouse, or bluish face or lips, then you need an ambulance. You need to get to an emergency. You need to get to a hospital right away. So, be sure to check this out. I mean, like I said, I don't have everything. You can go to cdc.gov and look for coronavirus on there. Everything's there. And the big thing right now is I hope our government gets their butt into gear. We need testing. We need every single person tested, not just those that have symptoms, not just those that have been exposed. The only way we're going to contain this is if everyone is tested and the government knows where every case is. But anyway, that's what I have, you guys. I don't have all the answers. If you know more, I would love to hear from you. Please get in the comments below and share with us what your thoughts are, what you know about it. And, I'm going to start looking at doing more online things. I mean, we need, hi, Steva, good to see you. Living in the now. Exactly. That's that's exactly. But, and then we need contact. We're social beings. So start using FaceTime more or some kind of a video chat, whatever you have. There's apps on your phone, Facebook Lives, telephone calls. Pick up the phone and call somebody for right now. And it's only for a little while. We just need to do the best we can to stay isolated from everybody. And we can still stay in contact through the phone, through video, through whatever. So, hey, that's all I have. Thanks for being here today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.